Hello friends and welcome to What's Best with Uncle Breeze. This is Nick Beach. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend so far. We are going to be asking just one big question, one of your big questions to Uncle Breeze today, and that is, why does the universe exist? Thought it was worth taking a few extra minutes over this one, so hope you enjoy. Here we go. Alright, so how do you think we're going to do today?
I'm quite interested in this one because I actually think this is going to be one of the rare times where you might actually have more to say than I do.
Oh, but I'm so quiet and restrained.
But I just think that we've had so many conversations in the kitchen about this kind of thing, and I think that your outlook on it is really great.
Oh, cool!
I really like it. It really interests me.
Oh, thank you, man. Well, I'd like to answer one of your questions for a change, or provide any information whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Cool,
Sounds
man.
good.
So, our big question this week is, why does the universe exist?
Mm-hmm.
And that's from Andrew.
Why does the universe exist?
Why does the universe exist?
Well, I mean, it's interesting because I suppose you could come at it from the universe. We can only perceive it via human means.
Mm-hmm.
So really, is that question asking, why do we exist? You know what I mean?
Well, I think that's a particularly interesting sub-question to us. But I think let's start
keep on, yeah.
Start with why does it exist? What's your cosmology, ontology? What's the deal?
I mean, I think it's like the ant farm of the universe. And little planets are just dressing up the glass box.
Right.
You know what I mean? That the giant is poking on the thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, why does the universe exist? I suppose... See, this is what annoys me. Is that... I think I've mentioned it in previous episodes, but scientists get paid loads of money to try and figure this one out. I just think... Hydrogen cars? Maybe a better, maybe a better use of cash.
Yeah, better pencil.
No one's paying us to do this, so we can do it all we want.
Yeah, and we're going to get this sorted in a straight hour, so...
For free.
Yeah.
We are saving the taxpayer millions. And these blokes sat at desks.
Yeah.
Because they're usually blokes, because, you know what I mean? Like, all puffed up, I know about the universe.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, that's most blokes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Universe, let me tell you.
Does me head in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't remember her name, which is bad, but that woman who did all the calculus for NASA.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, yeah.
Never got a sniff in.
Invented all the computering and...
Never got a sniff in. Just got on with it. That's why I always think about,
Man who stood around on, a big rock.
Yeah.
Ooh, check
Buzzing.
him out. Yeah.
Just sat on a big rocket.
Yeah.
I could do that. Sit in that. All right. Roger that.
Occasionally say, yeah, Roger, bravo.
Yeah, roger that. Houston, we're still alive.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, Jake.
Yeah, I'm just taking some steps out on this big rock. Look at me.
It's one small step for Jake, one giant leap for everyone else. Doesn't have the same ring, does it?
No.
But I think maybe the reason the universe exists is to house intelligence. It's to breed intelligence. Because it seems weighted towards intelligence.
Yes.
Because obviously we can't be the only people out here, or the only intelligent beings out here.
It's too big of a universe for there to be just only death everywhere else. That doesn't seem right.
And I think our flaw is that we're only stuck in the physical universe. I think the actual universe that we're going to see is on a dimension that we don't even know exists.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So, you think about it. Every person who's ever lived has only had the same sort of base functions as anyone else. Even Albert Einstein had to go and have a shit every now and then.
Yeah.
The Queen farts.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln every now and then got an awkward erection. You know what I mean?
It's uniting.
Even Marie Curie tripped over sometimes. You know what I mean? And so I think the point of that is we're limited by this physical sphere. Whereas maybe there are other beings out there, but they're operating on a completely different set of laws of physics. Because the laws of physics are just laws that are allowed to exist in our domain.
Certainly, I would assume that the ones that we know of are a subset of whatever the real thing is.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think that's where some of the stuff is cool, because you can't really break maths, because whatever you apply it to, that still works. And the same with, whatever our best physics is of the day. Like, the maths massively dominates any expectation of how we think reality should be. So that's where I think it's a bit cool. We start to figure it out. Like,
it's like even with the maths, it's like relativity. Microwave seconds last forever. You know what I mean? So it's like maths, but we've got this clause in. Because the only thing that's holding it back is human perception. I don't care who you are or how clever you are. That microwave takes 8 hours for it ding. It does, doesn't it?
I'm not really. Can you explain this principle of physics for me? I'm not quite clear.
I'm not a physicist. Shock, I know.
Then why do we keep calling you Dr. Breeze?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Just rude. But anyway, because is relativity the one where time bends and that?
Relativity is where time and space are fundamentally connected, and the whole fabric of the universe as we see it is actually, in some sense, malleable, so it can be affected by gravity, and time can act at different relative speeds. So a thing that we think of as eternal and immutable, like time, actually, if we were travelling at different rates, we would experience different rates of growth and age. That's some bits of it that might not be all wrong.
Well, I don't know what's going on with the speed inside microwaves and kettles, but something's going on there.
Is this a watch pot never boils, but assuming Einstein's looking at a microwave instead?
Yeah, going, what is this?
I think he would have figured it out. He's well smart.
But the time, it goes so slow. You know what I mean? But like, it's just, for example, I remember watching a documentary. I don't know how old I were. I don't even know where I were. I must have been maybe about 11. And it was like, if you managed to go on an orbit round a black hole, you'd see yourself going round it. What?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you'd probably be too dead to see it, but I think that's exactly the kind of thing. So if you travelled close enough to the speed of light, you'd be able to overtake, well, not the other speed of light, but you can effectively see through time. So this is one of the ways I understand that some version of time travel might be possible. Like, you could take a journey such that you could see your past self.
YouTube. Cracked it.
Yeah.
That's another £100 we've saved.
Past self. Yeah. Give it up, guys. We figured it out.
See me past self, got a camera.
Yeah.
And I've got Facebook.
Yeah.
But
This is true.
I just, for example, what freaks me out about the whole, like, why does the universe exist, is the best theory we've got at the moment of what holds it all together. Dark matter. Now that theory is mental. To anyone who knows the price of fish, that theory is mental.
Yeah.
It's this invisible stuff. We don't know what it is, but we think it's out there, and it holds everything together. How enlightening. Cambridge. Thousands of pounds they put in that place.
Yeah.
For scientists.
Thousands.
Caltech. Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Invisible stuff. Well in, guys. Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I could have told you that.
You could have, but it wouldn't have been... Frankly, I think that's what wouldn't have been worth a lot.
All I'm saying is that...
Excuse me, I know much how fish costs, and I think there's a bunch of invisible stuff out there that I don't know what it is.
All I'm saying, invisible, all-powerful, can't see it, but we believe it's there. Sounds like God to me, lads.
I don't think it's all-powerful. I think it's just very, very present, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but I mean, Jesus has got 2,000 years on him.
Yeah, I mean, probably not on dark matter, though. I think dark matter probably wins in the longevity stakes, assuming it's a thing.
But if we called it God matter, everyone would be going, what are you doing?
Yeah, we have to, you call something God particle, sell a few more books, don't you?
Yeah, that's fair enough. It's like that Big Hadron Collider. I remember being sat in French when they were about to switch it on, and everyone braced themselves. Braced themselves.
Because if this tears the universe apart, you'll want to have been in the brace position.
You know what I mean?
But like, we sometimes find those situations, right, where you'll be like, we've invented this bomb, we think it might set the atmosphere on fire. We're not sure, probably not, but just so you know, it might set all of the air on Earth on fire.
But this is what's mental.
We did that.
Yeah, we did. It's like, oh, scientists like, don't switch it on. Like those people protesting, like them madheads burning down 5G. Don't switch it on. Black hole machine. It's like, if it's got to this point, do you not think there's already been a few tests?
Yeah, but that's but I don't buy that, because that could be the conversation right before they blow up the planet. Like, even if it's a 1 in a billion chance that machine creates a tiny black hole which immediately becomes a giant black hole and swallows up everything that we know, those aren't good odds. Like 1 in a billion to risk the existence of everything we know, I think is a really terrible gamble.
Our odds are 0 anyway.
Well, on a long time, but you've got a pretty good chance of seeing tomorrow or your family ever again or having an ice cream. Those things are all doable. I want them. Not your family.
But if everyone's going, you just sort of shrug, wouldn't you? All right.
This was a position of my old philosophy tutor, who said basically, if the world winked out of existence tomorrow, I wouldn't call that a bad thing. I wouldn't think about I wouldn't worry for my kid or whatever, because it's just gone, and that's different to you leaving it, which I understand. I don't want to just keep persisting in a void where it's just me. But I think I would take it a bit personal. I want to keep existing. I've accepted my death, like to the extent that I can, from my limited position. Like I accept, I'm going to snuff it one day, but I'm going to be annoyed if it happens tomorrow, especially if it means it happens to all my mates as well. That seems rough.
That complaints desk in Heaven's going to be full.
I think they've got a bit of a backlog. I think Godco is slowly working through. To be honest, I think what they've got is an intern just being like, "Thank you so much. Sorry, it's taken us 860 years to get back to you. We will, someone is going to maybe reply someday."
Godco values your feedback.
So, after 10,000 years in hell, you get the reply email.
There's some Templar in hell going, "Finally, it's been put right. I didn't steal that bread."
Yeah, unfortunately, thanks to your long service in hell, we can't really accommodate you now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate.
So the Jehovah's Witnesses were right. There's a limited number of spaces here, and you got superseded by that bread stealing guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I mean. Like, this is that sort of encompassing point I'm making, though. The fact that we can even have these conversations, I think, shows some kind of rhyme or reason. Because this is why I was saying before about why do we exist? Because I think, with the universe, it seems to me inevitable that we need to go out and explore it. And I think the universe is a big experiment. Not necessarily done by a sentient being, but just a big happening of, can we get intelligence to bump into each other? In the same way that when atoms collide and electrons collide, they become isotopes. And I think that's the same with intelligence, in the universe. They'll bump into each other and suddenly we'll become something else and we'll become something else. And, I mean, I don't know where that ends. Because who are we sending?
Yeah.
Because this is what freaks me out about that golden disc they sent into space. Could we not have ungone? Could we not have ungone until after we had records?
They want it on Laserdisc.
It's like, we've got MP3.
Yeah.
We're not sending any of them out.
Yeah.
We've had loads of good songs since then.
To be fair, I think it might be easier to decode a vibrating disc than an MP3, potentially.
Yeah, but I mean,
making a lot of assumptions.
Imagine the alien that picks up that record.
Because instead, what you're saying is, instead they can have a whole iPod's worth of stuff rather than one disc of things. They can have.
They could have had every speech by every world leader ever on a terabyte hard drive.
Let's get that out there.
Plugged in. Well, I don't get what makes them think they're going to be able to read English. Some alien. Look, I've got Earth first pressing on gold vinyl. They put it on. Oh, I need your love, babe. What's this shit?
Yeah.
They get. In fairness, I reckon it was a good idea to have "Cold Was the Earth." Was it "Cold Was the Night, Hard Was the Ground"? Blind Willie Nelson on there.
You tell me.
Fantastic track, and it's just there's no words in it. It's just a guy making sounds like he's fed up. But like, it's like it's really beautiful. They get that.
Yeah.
It doesn't need the Beatles on there, does it? That's why I don't get the beat. Imagine all like the mad sort of. it's such a America thing, isn't it? Like, oh, the pinnacle of culture, the Beatles.
It probably is if you're in America.
I know, but you know what I mean. Though it's just like, come on, maybe put on some, some authentic African drumming.
No, I think they do that now.
Yeah, but it's like where we really came from. You know what I mean? Not three blokes with bowl cuts.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't represent us.
Yeah. And also, you got to think, even if they do all the stuff and they, build a turntable and all that stuff, you got to know the RPM.
Yeah.
Think of all the high speed gibberish you'd be getting before someone's like, and then you get some alien on whatever version of Stoned is being like, hey guys, if I slow this down, it sounds like
if you play it
almost
backwards,
like speech.
Yeah, if you play it backwards, it kind of sounds like they're saying which means hello in their language.
Yeah.
But because what I want to know is that inevitably, if the universe is infinite, some species somewhere are sent out their own disc, and we're going to get it and be like, oh, we can't play it though. We've chucked away all our tape players.
Well, their version of the big disc is a laser that arrives and just cuts a giant hole in the planet and it falls apart.
Yeah, just fire.
Yeah, exactly. A cloud of MP3 gas, just bubbles full of their thoughts, which to us are poisonous.
It's choking me out, but it's such a banger. Yeah, I'd be into that.
And that's it. If you were really going to send something, would it be a disc on a little ship? No, realistically, you want some kind of hyper beam that directs a load of high energy information. That's how you're going to get across systems, not a little craft.
Yeah,
but if one of those was beamed at us, we might not know. I mean, I guess because we're scanning the spectrum that we know of, but
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe the beings in the outer spectrum, whatever you want to call it, are primitive.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Pushing it along through space. Maybe gravity is just a big hand of one of them beings just going.
Just pushing everything down everywhere.
Have they not left Earth yet?
Yeah.
Gary's been off the clock for 2 billion years. Come on.
Yeah.
Never mind global warming. Come on.
Yeah.
I've turned the heating on. What more do you want? Get off here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm already doing overtime. Do you know what I mean? Something like that. But this is what I mean, is that the reason the universe exists is probably way beyond us, because humans, we think we're so important, and we are. But I think all it's going to take is that first time of, hopefully not Donald Trump, hopefully he's not the president, walking out and going, today we've received contact. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, it's all in Mandarin. You know what I mean? Or something like that. China's just done a loop.
Yeah.
You notice that everything was invented in China first. Maybe they're aliens. You know what I mean? And they're just trying to get us back to where we were at.
Yeah.
But everyone just keeps
messing it up.
Everyone just keeps fucking it up. And China's there I keep trying to tell you. Because let's be honest, they're doing some good shit. They're doing some pretty grim shit as well. But for the most part, China may save us all. You know what I mean? And it's just the fact that, just imagine Xi Jinping just being sat there they've done it again. What? They just keep pulling out of treaties. Everybody's littering. What do you mean you can't build an hospital in 3 days? What's everybody doing?
Going to the moon again?
Yeah, it's just we've done it. Yeah. We've been.
Yeah.
Get over it. Because I think that's the thing. We've said it loads of times. The future's in space. And maybe that's why we're supposed to be going up there, for what we'll meet. Like the Omni God. We go up there and it's like, congratulations.
You have reached the final level.
Yeah, it's like an escape room. You escaped in 2 billion years and 34 seconds.
Yeah.
Have a picture. Everyone.
As the flesh melts from your bones.
Totally worth it. And then it's like level 2. Something like that.
Yeah.
And again, China leads the way. But, because I think, the whole fire falling from the sky thing, it's there in all religions. And I'm just not having that there's not something at work. There's got to be something at work. Because, I I don't know. Like, have you been on the internet recently?
I have.
There's so much stuff on there. We've created a universe.
It's a lot of stuff, yeah.
So what I always think is maybe that's what's happening. Like, for example, when you cough, you're coughing out loads of little mini beasts. What are they called? Not mini beasts.
Mini beasts.
Mini beasts. Little molecular tiny things.
Mm.
For all they know, that could be their Big Bang. The big cough. Bacteria is just like, bloody hell.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all it is. It's just all we are is just the sputum of an overlord.
Well, it's pretty clear that there's not much limit to the difference in scale going upwards and downwards in our universe. Like, you are the home to countless creatures.
Yeah.
Who, never mind conceiving of you, might not be able to make it round your whole body, in a lifetime, except for that, cool superhighway you're made of.
Yeah.
But, I've had this, just feeling like, when you have a small like a tiny, tiny creature crawling around, and it takes an hour to try and climb up your arm, like that's pretty godlike, right? And then like if I was an angry god, you'd be dead already. Yeah. And as it is, I'm out there trying to,
I'm a neutral god.
Stop bugs from getting murdered.
Because let's be honest, when you stand on a snail, there's no worse feeling, is there?
Oh,
it's been raining and you hear it.
Tiny little killing.
All you hear is a crunch, and you're just like, That's what put me off war forever.
Snails.
Just feeling that, just like, I feel that bad about a snail.
How are you going to feel putting your bayonet in someone?
Yeah, imagine a person. It's not like it's an accident. It's like, oh fucking hell!
I also feel like quite sort of viscerally. Realise I've just killed a spider, and it's like,
I mean, I've got some spiders that are lodgers. Maybe that's their whole universe.
Spider pals.
Spider pals. They eat the flies. I just let
them. But that's it's sometimes you've got to weigh that up. You're like, well, you're a mosquito, mate.
Yeah.
And I don't wish you any particular ill, but you're trying to eat me, so sorry.
Getting whacked. But this is the thing. I remember hearing about a scientist saying that existence is just loads of things desperately trying not to get eaten whilst trying to eat other things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if vegetables could scream, we'd be buggered. But I think that's it, though, is that maybe that's how insignificant we are. We're just a bit of dust in the room of just some other, like, dimensional being that just isn't fond and clean in its room. We're a bit of mould on a plate. Yeah. And it lives in a house share, and it's just like, Tony, have you cleaned that yet? No, look what it's doing. They've just invented fire. You know what I mean? Like, they've got skyscrapers. And I think that's probably all we are. Because another thing that pisses me off, the universe is always expanding. And the question is always, into what? Well, we don't know. Why say it then?
Because it's our best idea of the truth.
That's fine with them.
Like, doesn't that just expose, like, how limited we are? Because naturally, obviously, when someone's expanding, obviously, into what? But we already have a pretty good idea that space is not a given thing in which our little pod just kind of sits. The universe itself, the space itself that we're in, is something that expands. It is something that has shape, and it's something that is self-contained, it's self-limiting. And our idea, the space and time that we know, there's no reason to think that any other universe would need to be structured in the same way. Like a different version of space, a different version of gravity, or something totally alien to us.
I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, because it's like being in a big cage. You know what happens when things get too big for the cage? You end up putting them on Gumtree for someone who can fit them in their house. Big lizard. Can't fit it anymore. The landlord doesn't want pets. Who wants this big lizard? Who's got a vivarium? I don't want to be passed over to another vivarium. I like this one. And it scares me, to be honest, Nick Beach. It scares me. Because I remember being sat in a Year 11 physics class. I'd probably just about got my first 4 pubes. I was otherwise engaged. And then all I hear at the front is, so there are 3 theories about the end of the universe. I'm like, whoa! I'm 16! Calm down! Like, what are you on about?
Should have an age warning on that.
Like, I've only just really started to come to terms with the concept of mortality. Never mind the end of everything. It's either there's going to be a big cooling and then nothing will sustain life, or it's going to shrink in on itself again. And in fairness, the shrinking in on itself one sounds quite funny.
That's the fun one.
That's funny. Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Here comes the bit. The moon's massive tonight.
And then you could imagine it then, the big crunch and then some other bang. Like that's one of the nicer versions of that.
And then there's one where it's just like, and maybe it'll just stay as it is. Which to me just sounds like scientists going, yeah, but it might be alright.
But it kind of can't, because if everything keeps moving away from each other forever, that doesn't seem sustainable, right? Like everything just keeps going further and further apart from each other.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a stopping point.
But I mean, this isn't the overriding point that you will be so hilariously beyond dead before any of these things can even be... Like, it's so far beyond a human timescale, like... The universe is still young enough that we can accurately kind of do the maths and figure this out and imagine the idea of going to a place. Like, I don't know what the time scale is, but that end has got to be, Certainly denizens of Earth should probably not worry. Like, even if we sort of manage to get, onto Mars and somehow get to some other system that has a planet, which seems crazy, but maybe that's possible... You're still talking, even if our species survives for billions of years, I still think the odds are never going to be in your favour.
I know, but Nick Beach, it was my 26th birthday about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
I've already got anxiety about my next one. Mm-hmm. It's a year away. I'm absolutely terrified of the big cool. Because I know it's going to matter if I'm going to be alive for it. I know it's coming.
I would see like that's the most important thing, isn't it? Am I going to be around for it? Like, if someone's going to come and chop my head off, well, am I dead? Yes. Okay. Well, I'm not too fussed. Don't tell my parents.
I don't know. I just think, why? Do you know what I mean? I don't even get why we celebrate our birthdays. I get it back in the day because I mean, surviving another year in the wastes was probably mint. You know what I mean? When there's Black Plague knocking about, but now like I can get paracetamol for an headache.
Yeah, that is great.
I survived again. Whoopee. This is what I don't get about the question of like, why does the universe exist? Like, I think asking that is like, asking why is cereal good with milk? Like, it just is.
Well, no, because I think there's a reason for that, and the reason that you like the taste of cereal with milk is because that's full of things that are good for you. It's things like that have meant that your ancestors have survived, and your ancestors before that on some other branch that didn't like the taste of milk or the taste of grains might have died, because you need to like enjoy the taste of things, be hungry for things. You need to be repelled and fearful of things that are dangerous. There's a reason we have all of those reactions, right?
Well, yeah, true. Just scares me, mate. The world scares me. The universe scares me even more. It's like a dark room. You know what I mean? You walk in, I don't care how old you are, you're still scared of the dark. I feel uneasy in the dark. I feel uneasy anyway, but even more so in the dark.
Well, that's something I think, there, for example, you can make a lot of sense of that, because daylight, the sun, warmth, these things, on the whole, tend towards survival. Dark, cold, tends towards death. That's just a pretty basic rule, right? And so you love the light and scared of the dark. There's bad things in it.
But that's my point. The universe is big dark. The biggest dark.
It is the big dark, yeah.
We're in a big dark box that's getting bigger. So even bigger dark. Every day, infinitely bigger dark. I'm getting scareder and scareder because the dark's getting bigger and bigger.
But the thing is, you're not in all those dark places, are you? You're here. I think being scared of the dark where you are kind of makes sense. But the idea of there being some darkness out there somewhere that no one is experiencing, I can't find trouble in, really.
I mean, yeah, I suppose so. I suppose it's very difficult to talk about why when we're trying to not go towards a deity. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I understand that.
Because, I mean, even if you say that the universe is a big simulation, by whom?
No, definitely. This is a simulation absolutely begs the question of who is doing this to us, which is an interesting but a more theoretical one. That seems quite beyond reach. But
yeah, I think that just just some matter got lucky.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because I don't know. I just wish there was little aliens out there.
There probably are.
Which
The
is-
odds are good. It's such a big universe. I think the issue might be, are they out there now in each place? Because we're doing pretty well as a species that has the idea of looking to space, but we're not that far into our space telescope days, and we might, there's a lot of plausible routes to know more of that very fast.
But I mean,
So-
that's why I like intelligence. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, most people I know of these days who I'm mates with, I think are cleverer than me. I like it. I like listening to people who are cleverer than me talk to other people who are much cleverer than me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But then still manage to say it in a way where I go, okay,
Mm.
I get that.
Yeah.
Which is what I like about them things that the BBC put on every year, for the kids.
Oh yeah, those big. Is it the Royal Society
Yeah.
or something like that? Yeah. Information for kids.
Yeah. Because that's what I mean, like, why Joe Rogan was so good. Because even though, like, he's got this persona as a gristlehead,
Mm.
I think what that actually is a very clever interviewing technique to get mega smart people to talk in layman's terms.
Mm. Makes
Like-
sense, and it means you can get super baked before the show and just be like, "What, dude? Say that again."
What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, but I just when it comes to the universe stuff, again, I can't help but feel like it's why I get pissed off with this question, because I can't help but feel like there's more important stuff to be thinking about. Because scientists, you can turn their hand to any science within reason. You're not going to get a botanist to think about space-time continuum, but like, you know what I mean? Is I just think if we could just get them all together in a big meeting, a big scientist meeting, put the pencil down. We're nipping Old Trafford. Sit down. You at the back. I see you doing equations. Confiscate his book. He'll give it you at the end. Right, lads. And then translators are everywhere. Enough. The universe is expanding. That'll do. That'll do. End it. Over. Research over.
Mm-hmm.
What we're going to do now is, you've got two choices. What you're going to do is you're going to figure out how we solve climate change.
Mm-mm.
And the other thing you're going to figure out is how we can just get food going everywhere. Everything else you can do in your own time. But, no buts. Listen, you've had your fun on taxpayer money for a long time. We're having a bit back now. Come on. Take that Big Bang Theory t-shirt off. No one's laughing. That means you too, Jeremy. You know what I mean? I just think that a lot of it is pointless. Because surely, before we start worrying about the universe, let's worry about looking after each other. Let's figure that one out. Let's figure out how we can get it so that no one in the world has to work in a fucking sweatshop. Let's figure that one out. Like, we've got enough boffins. Let's do it. You know what I mean? The economists, that's who we need to do away with. Get these scientists going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Scientists seem like generally quite nice people. You know what I mean? And you talk to lots of people who are in academia and they're like, oh, it's so hard to get published because there's no money. You're like, why? It's because all them bankers are nicking it all. For doing what? Moving it places.
Yeah, I think you're getting some of the real shit there.
You know what I mean? Just let the economists sit there and think about the universe for a bit. While they're away, shut the businesses
no,
down.
they'll have a bloody horrible version of it, or the mainstream economics version of the universe.
Yeah, but it will. But it'll be the equivalent of someone doing a podcast into the ether. Because we're listening to the scientists. The economists are like, oh, we've had some thoughts about how the universe exists. Very nice. Look what we've got. Brian over there has just figured out how to make food out of nothing. You know, you think about all the things that could have been accomplished if we just could stop hedge funds.
Yeah.
No, send them into space.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right, lads. You love money so much. We've pumped loads into this. What are you going to do? Yeah. We're going to sit you on a spaceship, yeah? And you can do your sums up there. Fantastic. And you can do all the sums you want. You can do all the moving around the money you want. Just up there, away. And as soon as they're gone, right, have they all gone? Right, switch their internet off. We're doing this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's what I think the problem is that it's people getting in the way. Maybe that's part of why the universe exists. to just make it streamlined. Make things streamlined. Because I can't be on my own here. I know I sound stupid when I say stuff like this, but I don't know how else to say it. It's just everyone can see the problems. You know, why should it matter if someone from Bolivia, who's an amazing scientific mind, but can't get a sniff because there's no money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I think you've hit upon the real stuff there, which is, you know, we have the ability to do not limitless, but unbelievable things when we decide that we want to enough as a broader society. But, you know, we can go to the moon before we can feed all the hungry people.
Yeah.
You know? We can't. We know how to build homes. We have homeless people, but we can't just build them homes because of politics, everything else. Same thing. Someone can get money for, you know, someone can get a grant to study something that to you or other reasonable people sounds completely insane. But they can get that bit of money. But trying to get everybody to work on something like climate change, immediately you're bogged down straight in the politics. You know,
this is what I mean. It's make believe. Money. It's a concept. It doesn't exist. Like. It's not a thing, and this isn't just some guy with dreadlocks at an after party. I'm talking like just think about the things we could achieve if we all just went, I like it here.
It's a vehicle to allow us to do things for each other.
Yeah,
you know, people, and we need a mechanism of exchange for people just to feed each other, look after each other, move each other around, which is understandable, but sure causes some problems.
Yeah, damn right. And that brings me on to, like, you know, because you have an interesting theory on the universe. Now, you believe in pantheism, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, my take is no one's ever described to me a god bigger than all of creation.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Like, oh, and also there's this dude. There's either an angry or chill dude who said, "I choose this." Like, what? Like, you already have, you know, unknowable. All, you know, practically infinity of worlds beyond worlds beyond worlds out there, and that's just the stuff we can see. Like, I look at that and I'm like, yeah, okay, that'll do for God.
Yeah.
Like, no one's ever pitched me a better one, a more powerful one. Like, and that just makes it. Once you take that on, all the propositions about God that I'd ever want to accept about a God make sense. Like, I'm created. I have no right to exist. There's no reason that I should. And here I am, out of the black void of death and nothingness. Here I am, and I get to experience, like, that is the biggest personal miracle you could ever possibly conceive of having. You know, getting to live in a place where life is possible.
Yeah.
To be aware. That's your own, like, personal origin story. And for me, I think the reason people always want to know, you know, one of the main pushes towards any kind of religious narrative. People say, well, why am I here? Why does it suck? Why did my child die? Why has this happened to me? Why all that? And someone goes, oh, well, your dad is very angry. You've got big, angry space dad. And he decided all of this and the horrible things that happen, well, yeah, he kind of chooses that too. Why? Well, you don't get to know that. And because it's a narrative that makes sense when you're a toddler, like, oh, I'm here because of Daddy, and Daddy is angry right now, and this is rubbish. That narrative just makes a lot of sense, and it's because we are so feeble and limited in our understanding of what's going on. But that, you know, the narrative is just like, well, something is happening, and it's not because of you. You're not special. There's just this thing that's happened, and it's bigger than you could ever conceive of. But you get to have a go around. That's amazing.
Yeah, damn right, yeah. I think I'm going to pause there for a small bit of applause.
Oh, thank you.
Please all join in.
Thank you.
Because I think that's a very good defence of pantheism. And, I mean, I agree with you. Like, I know I moan, and I ever do. I take the mick, but I love being alive. It's ace.
Yeah.
I get to wake up every morning. I look out of my unwashed window into my garden that's got lovely grass coming through at the moment. And I turn over. My phone's pinged up and someone I love has gone, how are you doing today? Awesome. You know what I mean? And maybe that is the point. Like, maybe the universe exists because it exists. Like, because to not have it exist would be a tragedy. Imagine not existing.
Yeah.
It'd be boring.
I mean, that's the deal. That, you know, that's what you've had and that's what you'll have again.
And
But
exactly.
the bit in the middle is pretty cool, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I know, it's not perfect, and it's pretty bad for a lot of people a lot of the time. But getting to have a lifetime that you experience, that's generally a pretty good deal.
Yeah, let's live it up while we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, because I have this theory of reincarnation that's completely random,
Mm-hmm.
and the whole point of living is to try and make the world a little bit better.
Mm.
So it doesn't matter what you get reincarnated as, because statistically, we're all coming back as Bangladeshi textile workers.
Mm.
So we best to hell as make sure that it's going to be okay when we get there.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. This sounds like the veil of ignorance.
Mm.
This guy John Rawls. I think we've probably discussed it, right?
Yeah.
But basically, you should make the rules for society as if you were going to not know who you are in that society,
Yeah.
and that sounds like a similar thing.
Yeah, Joe Rogan made a good point of it. It's like you can tell if a law is just by imagining there's 3 of you on an island.
Mm.
It's just like, that guy's killed the other guy. Yes, put him in a cage.
Mm.
That guy's smoking some weed. To the cage with you. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's such a good point.
Yeah.
But, and I think that's it. I think the whole point of the universe is that we've missed the point.
Mm.
The whole point of it, like, the universe is probably giggling at us in some kind of weird celestial way, going, ah, you're still doing war.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Eventually, you'll realise, and it'll be something. Because let's be honest, like, there's only maybe 3 times in life where you are completely and unequivocally happy. 1, tucking into a bowl of your favourite food.
Mm-hmm.
The sweet pleasure of tucking into some mashed potatoes and gravy
Mm-hmm.
is just the shit.
Mm-hmm.
2nd, orgasm.
Mm-hmm.
Ralphie May got it bang on. You don't care what your face looks like. You don't care what your body's doing. You don't care what noise you're making. You are unequivocally happy.
Mm.
And the 3rd time you're unequivocally happy is that moment where your mate comes in and just goes, "You'll never guess what's happened to me. I love a good yarn."
Mm.
And maybe that is the point of the universe, just a good yarn.
Mm.
Because you think about it, all history is just a good yarn.
It's a good story.
It's a good yarn.
Mm. It's every story.
Yeah. And like, it doesn't necessarily have to be one of the great yarns, like Julius Caesar, because he used to strike me as a man who had a lot of stress.
Mm.
A lot of stress being Caesar.
Mm.
You know what is a good yarn? The story of the man who figured it out, or the woman who figured it out, and they just had a nice time.
That's not a very good story, though, is it?
I think it, for them it is.
Yes. Yeah.
And, the point is to make your yarn. And the universe is a big yarn. There once upon a time, on a little blue planet,
Mm.
there was some things that evolved from monkeys, and then ended up looking a bit mental,
Mm.
and they left the Earth for a bit. And like, I think that maybe there's millions of those little yarns going on everywhere, and that's where fiction's amazing, because fiction is just creating reality. Fiction is as real as reality, if not even more real.
Okay. Tell us about that.
Because in fiction, all it is reality compressed into the most real bits of reality. Pain, heartbreak, joy, elation, beautiful moments of realisation are compressed into 300 pages.
Mm.
And there's no...
You mean it's a higher dose of reality
Yeah.
than real reality.
That's why we
isn't it?
love.
Yeah.
That's why we love film. It's why we love acting. It's just because it's like that's why we love culture. It's because out of it, you recognise what's important.
Mm.
And there's no. And on page 4, sleeping for 8 hours, and he breathed in, and he breathed out,
Yeah.
and he breathed in,
Yeah.
and he breathed out, and he moved, but he stayed asleep. You know what I mean? Swallowed 3 spiders, whatever. And that's the beauty of it. That's the real beauty of it, and I think that is why the universe exists. So that at the end of it, if there is a God, we'll all sit there. It's like, oh, Earth's on Channel 4. We all sit back and go, yeah, that was a good laugh.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And at the same time, though, with that outlook, there's people like Nicola Sturgeon who are smashing it out for all of us. So maybe they'll get the front row seats.
Mm.
Right this way, guys.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Gordon Brown will probably get in. Maybe.
Mm.
Cameron's got no chance.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
So it seems like we're back to basically sort of a big old God has put this in place for a laugh kind of a.
I'm not
model.
sure.
It sounds like we need a God in the heaven for any of this.
Yeah, fair
something
enough.
like that.
Maybe the celestial afterlife, I don't know.
Mm.
But
I think a lot of people get hung up on the afterlife, which is understandable because you get so attached to life. But it very often means that you don't take actual life seriously enough. And you see this very egregiously in a lot of, religious people who claim to take heaven very seriously and then don't spend their lives, just dedicated to helping people, which makes sense if you think you're just going to die.
Yeah.
But there's such a wild variety of experience that is possible in this life, and I think that incorporates heaven and hell. People are in hell right now.
Yeah.
And you mentioned some sort of heavenly experiences there, and we actually have those, and they're real. And I think the idea of going to a big spectators gallery in the sky and just eating pies all the time doesn't. It's kind of it's a sad shadow of the fact that we actually have life. I feel like if there are angels, I bet you they're jealous of the people who get to live. Same as, when you're old, you look back and, you just go, how did I not see all the potential in my life when I was young? How did I not grasp every opportunity? How did I spend so much time worrying about what people thought about me? Why couldn't I just be? And you generally can't.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, I've got to admit, if I died tomorrow, I could look back on my life and be like, that was wonderful. I played in rock bands and I did stand-up and, met amazing people. The past 3 years of my life have been the best 3 years of my life. Loved it. Loved every second of it. And I think that's my why. You know what I mean? That's my why. Why does the universe exist? That question, you can't have it as an overreaching thing. That's why my universe exists. You know what I mean? And I suppose that's something you've got to ask yourself, Andrew, from Manchester. Why do you see what I was saying at the start? Why does your universe exist? And I think you'll find that most people's universes are connected by common themes. Love, understanding, happiness. And if we clip all them together, that's probably pantheism. That's it. That's God. It's not big man in the sky going, beware ye this. It's just what we create and what is created. There might be a lot of aliens elsewhere holding a hand singing Kumbaya that are miles ahead of us. And we're never going to meet them, but it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. Because they've done the thing, mission accomplished. They've had a laugh. Yeah. And that's the way you've got to look at it. And you're right, it is God. That bit of water is God. That bike over there in the corner is God. That laptop is God. This thing we're recording is God. You sitting at home is God. Quiche, not sure.
Everything except quiche.
Quiche.
That's the dark matter of God. Yeah. Don't know about that one.
Yeah, quiche and GABA music.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that the universe could do without.
But that's the whole point. God is not just choirs of angels and mum's cake and a day at home with the family. That it's war. It's the Holocaust. It's people doing terrible things. It's GABA.
It's pestilence.
It's everything. That I think makes sense, right? God is the exploding volcano. He's the supernova. He is the meadow. It's everything, man, woman, intelligence, void, the nothingness, all encompassing, right? He's not just, the idea of him sort of being this person who sits outside of things and just has a monopoly on all the good stuff. Come on. That's much too convenient. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, that's just good PR.
You're much closer with the old gods, right?
Yeah.
He created the earth, and then he stomped on a load of people, and then he was sorry, and then he had a kid, and then he killed the kid, and then he got old and mad and was killed by another god. That's what you could buy that.
That's the story. That's probably why ancestor worship is so prevalent.
Where did I come from? That's where you came from. You worship that. Sun worship always made sense to me. That thing appears in the sky and we live. Everything lives so long as that thing keeps popping up. That's a god that I can respect. That makes sense.
I can get down with the sun.
And if you live by the ocean, okay, maybe the ocean's God. I get that as well.
Get down with that.
But that's where everything comes from. And I think we lose a lot by detaching it and being it's this person you can never understand, whose motives are totally unclear, who's basically like you, but a bit of a dick, and you can't ever ask him a real question.
Well, that's the thing. I often think that you've got to ask him in a very specific way. At what point did putting your hands together for prayer start? If he's all powerful, he knows what you're saying. Dear Lord,
Yeah, dear Lord,
yours
me
sincerely.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yours faithfully. Or just kind regards if you're pissed off.
Hopefully, yeah, yeah. Hopefully, faithfully. But...
It's like, like God speaks Latin,
Mm.
Catholics.
Mm.
Does he? Does he?
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing, like, how do we know God doesn't speak Swahili? And he's just looking at Italy going, I don't know what you're saying. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
And, well, that's another thing in it. Language, I think, plays into the universe question.
Mm.
Because we are limited again by language faculties.
Mm.
And there are certain languages that probably have a better way of explaining it than we do. But I think that's what's interesting about it, is that could be the differences in language could be as vast as the differences in experience. Like the classic thing of I see red, you see orange, or whatever.
Mm.
And I think that again that difference is part of why the universe exists, just to see what happens.
Mm.
It's like, all right, let's create one that has a long neck and eats leaves, but it's also albino giraffe. There's only ever been one.
Yeah.
But everyone goes, ooh.
Mm.
Bang on.
Mm.
Elon Musk started out okay, but it just went downhill.
Yeah.
The second series was not as good.
Yeah.
But again, that kind of thing, and that's why the universe exists. It's just constant evolution towards maybe that'll happen, maybe that'll happen. What's going on?
Mm.
For all we know, the next step might just be big meteor, game over. But then from that,
A universe-sized meteor crashes into
yeah.
the universe.
I mean, from the outside bit,
Who knows, man?
I mean, that's maybe we're expanding into big universe.
Mm. Yeah, no, that's where I think it gets interesting.
Yeah, and then there's a big celestial being going like,
Mm.
it's taking up more and more space. This.
Yeah. Yes, I've got enough of these.
Yeah, and then it's just like, Howard, look, I know you love Universe 1.73,
Yeah.
but it's as big as the basement.
Yeah.
It's getting bigger. We're getting subsidence.
Yeah.
The council have been round. If you don't chuck it out, it's me or that universe.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the point we're at now.
Goes in there, big crunch.
Howard sat there going, could we not keep it outside? No.
Like where we're headed.
The council have already been on my phone. We've not had planning permission.
Planet permission.
Planet permission for that a universe of that size. You know they expand.
Mm.
But in reality, you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe that's what's going on.
I mean, I think that's where it gets really interesting, because the idea of like, oh, this thing came out of nothing, and the idea of like, well, that's a real mystery. If you're just like, well, there was nothing, but isn't the more obvious thing? There's a lot of stuff, and there's one little thing that happened, and we're in that. That makes a lot more sense, right? You don't have to, this mystery of something from nothing. It's like, well, there's a thing that we don't know what it is, because that's like the front door in our universe.
Yeah.
And beyond there, we don't know. But it's more likely to be a lot of stuff than not a lot, isn't it? Given how much we have in our one little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, like the Big Bang thing does make me laugh a little bit. Because I just love that it's called the Big Bang.
I think that was the name of mockery, right? That has then been like, that Big Bang.
Big Bang.
Makes sense.
The bit that gets me is TV static is echoes from the Big Bang. Is it? Do you know what I mean? Come on, lads. How much echo?
Well,
How big was that bang?
Someone's put the delay on really high.
Reverberating. But again, yeah, because I don't know, I'm just not smart enough for this. I've said to you loads of times, science is something, it doesn't interest me, it scares me. It really freaks me out. Because I don't want to know how the world works. I don't want to know how the universe works. Because it just makes me head hurt. I'm not bothered. I'm really, you know what I mean? I'm just not bothered.
I just want to know, what is the price of fish today?
Yeah,
Jake Reeves, what does a fish cost?
It depends what you get. You can get some frozen salmon for like £3.65 at Lidl. So I know the price of fish.
Yeah.
Like the everyman is what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, Nick Beach. I don't like it. I don't like thinking about the universe. I've been trying to avoid talking about the universe for a full hour.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I don't like it. Maybe that's the reason the universe exists, to piss me off.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I think that's a little Breeze-centric for me to Except
we've already made me God last episode.
that's a bit more plausible, I think. That's a much lower goal.
Yeah, but
I think the Truman Show, where this whole caboodle exists just so that you'll go, oh, I don't want to think about this.
honestly, if I didn't have you five around me, I would be shaking my fist at the sky every night. What's going on?
What's all this about?
We know too much.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think that's, you know what, that's probably the answer to the question for me. I don't know. I don't want to.
That is a solid answer.
I don't want to know, but I think Nick Beach might have an idea.
I think more than you, because I like thinking about this and you don't.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It really scares me.
You get that a lot, I think. There's a lot of very scary stuff, right? You know, just starting from mortality, but then, oh, if everything's physical, do I like have choices? And what about these things happening? And it is pretty scary when you start tugging at the threads, but it's just so interesting.
Is it though? Black
Yeah.
hole.
Yeah.
Imagine if you fell in one. It's like a well.
So that's my pet theory is all the stuff that goes into a black hole, it goes into nowhere. That's a mystery. And we have this other mystery where all this stuff came out of nowhere. Kind of seems like, duh, all the stuff goes in a big hole and then it pops out somewhere. Like, duh.
But I mean, I don't know. That freaks me out. Like, the fact that the stars you can see in the sky burnt out millions of years ago, you know, because of light speed and how long it takes. Don't tell me that.
Is that a bummer?
That's a bummer.
It's definitely a bummer for your maybe, you know, people will come and check us out thing, because unless they can travel faster than the speed of light, which we don't think they can, we'll probably be dead. Like they'll be like, and they'll turn up and be like, oh, ooga booga booga. And we'll be like, oh, sorry, no, we learn language and stuff. You want those guys we killed off?
But that's it though. Like, that scares me. You know, I could go on all day about things in the universe that scare me. There's many of them. It's
a big universe, and most of the things scare you, right?
Like the fact that Mars had water on it. Don't tell me that.
That is a bit more scary, but don't you think, you know, we might need to be a little bit more scared? I know a lot of us are getting very scared about climate change, but again, as a global society, as a culture, as a set of people who vote for another set of people who have all the controls for things, maybe we should be a bit more scared and say, see that big dead rock? That used to be a nice place like this.
Yeah.
Until something happened, and we are very much something right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's the point of what I've been trying to get at, probably for the last hour. There's more important things right now that we need to figure. We need to figure out the survival of the species first.
If it was like, can we get all hands to the deck on climate change, and you know, like the situation we're in now, if it was like everyone has to stay home for 5 years and we'll fix climate change, well, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm on that team.
Well, I had a conversation about with a friend of mine the other day. She said to me, "Have you never thought about moving anywhere else?" It's like, well, that idea has only really been viable in the past 30 to 40 years. Most before then, people just chilled where they were, or wanting a big adventure.
Or it's like cousin so and so who left and went to America, and we obviously never saw them again. And you know,
I hope they're okay.
yeah, exactly.
I won't mind going back to that. Like, where you going? Australia? Why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just because, like you say, all hands on deck. The planet's dying. Come on. Don't worry about Halley's Comet, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Come on. Don't know why it's a person's. Like, you know what I mean?
Haley just really loved that comet.
You can't own a comet.
Yeah.
It's like them people who own a patch of land on the moon.
Yeah.
You can buy patches of land.
Yep.
Come on.
Well, I think Trump has declared that, you know, basically space war now.
Space war.
See the thought out about that.
My
mum's got a patch of that. I'm not having that.
Fair enough, but like, I'm not saying anything against it. What I'm saying is that, like, the fact that we can carve up real estate on the moon, we can start out not chucking out tins in the earth.
Yeah.
We can figure out recycling them.
You would think.
Yeah. I think that's where I'll leave it for today, if that's okay with you.
You can do that.
That I don't know. I don't know why the universe exists. All I know is that it scares me very much.
Mm-hmm.
Any closing thoughts, Nick Beach?
I'd like you to know that I am here for whenever things out there scare you. I understand it's a big scary thing. I will try and not torment you with the facts of the universe or any of my theories on it where I can. But yeah, it is going to be scary.
Yeah.
But at least it's really, really big and scary, and not just boring everyday locked in the house scary.
Can we have a big hug after this?
Let's have a big hug.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank
All right. Wait, I'm going to give you a big hug right now.
Oh.
And on that invisible note, I think we'll call it for today. So, there we go.
Yeah, there we go indeed.
There we go.
That was terrifying.
Figured that out. Yeah. So, lots to be scared of. What's your real one takeaway message for all the physicists and the dabblers? What's your?
I don't have a message for them.
No.
I just fear them. I don't want them to know where I live. I don't want them to know where my voice sounds like. I fear them.
Okay.
Everyone's talking about AI. Who do you think's making the AI? Fear them. Fear of change.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway message.
Fear change. There we go. Yeah, probably a message for our times, I think. Plenty of both.
Yeah, yeah. Physics scares me. I've made that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
And I just leave the universe alone. Leave it as it is.
Leave it roughly as it is.
The moon was fine.
Yeah.
The moon's fine. Yeah, I'd say that's my main takeaway.
That's it. All right. Well, I think we've pretty much figured this one out.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see you all next week.
Thank you very much. As always, thank you to the Old Abbey Tap House.
Big up, Tote.
Support your friends' businesses.
Please do.
And as always, big up the NHS and all
Big
those
up.
who labour in it.
Yes.
We will see you all soon.
All right. Lots of love, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.